Support comes from Thomas Nelson Community College, now becoming Virginia Peninsula Community College, the first choice, whether starting your bachelor's degree or advancing your career. More at tncc.edu.
Support comes from Hampton Roads Community Foundation, partnering with donors from all walks of life to improve southeastern Virginia through grants, scholarships, and leadership initiatives. Learn more at hamptonroadscf.org.
Hello, everyone. I'm Barbara Ham Lee. He was 8 years old when his uncle Bo Bell taught him how to properly shoot a basketball. And he knew at that moment that the game would be his way out of poverty. He focused on his craft and his dream throughout his formative years, leading him to join an elite college basketball team. His ultimate dream, the NBA. And then he made a decision that would change his life forever. Up next on Another View, the story of Swain Basketball Academy founder and motivational speaker, Coach Robert Swain. Stay tuned. Another View will be right back after this national, regional, and local news from NPR and WHRO News.
Discussing today's topics from an African-American perspective, this is Another View.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Another View. I'm Barbara Ham Lee. You know, the thing I love about this time of year is that there is so much to do in our area, and I want to tell you about an event that is coming up next weekend, Saturday, June 25th, from 10 a.m. until 2:30 p.m. is the 2022 Neighbors Building Neighborhoods Conference, the NBN Conference. The theme this year is Crafting Community Connections, and it's going to be held at the Webb Center at ODU, and there is registration. The deadline to register is June 22nd. So if you want to find out how to get inspiration, practical tools, and networking with others who want to be more civically engaged in your neighborhood, this is the conference for you. I had the pleasure of speaking at this conference several years ago. It is a wonderful conference, and it really will give you an opportunity to figure out how to make your neighborhood within our lovely city of Norfolk stronger. So if you want to know more information, go to norfolk.gov/NBN conference, or you can dial 757-664-6770. That's norfolk.gov/NBN conference, or 757-664-6770. And also want to welcome a very special guest in our studios today, and that is my granddaughter. Patience Ham is here visiting me from Baltimore, and she is learning how to do some producing. She's been working with Lisa on timing and looking at scripts, and so hopefully we may either have a new talk show host in the making, or at least a producer behind the scenes, so that would be awesome. Welcome, Patience. I'm so glad that you're here. So I call today's show Inspiration. Later in our broadcast, we're going to talk about how the Williamsburg community will come together to celebrate Juneteenth. But first, the inspiring story of Coach Robert Swain. He's the founder of Swain Basketball Academy. He's a motivational speaker, and he's an author who, despite many challenges, always owns his moments. How you doing, Coach Swain?
Hey, how you doing? I'm doing good.
Good. I'm so glad that you are joining us today, and I had the pleasure of reading your book. I cannot wait to get into some of the details of what happened. But, you know, I talked about in the very intro to our show the fact that your uncle, Bo Bell, taught you how to shoot a basketball. Can you take us back to that day, to being that little 8-year-old boy and what you were feeling at that time?
Wow. 8 years old, my uncle was just coming home from playing professional ball during the summertime.
Mm-hmm.
And, we were just laying in the bed, and I just had the ball. He said, "Man, do you know what you're doing with that?" I said, "Yeah, I'm shooting it." He said, "Let me show you the correct way to shoot it." And from that day forward, he showed me the full mechanics of the correct way how to shoot a basketball, and I never forgot it. And he told me, he said, "If you want to make some money doing something you love," he said, "learn how to shoot this basketball."
And so why did you know, do you think that you knew, now that you can look back on your life, why was that moment so pivotal for you in terms of the rest of your life?
Because I was 8 years old, and when you're 8 years old, you have many things that you want to do that you say you could be. You think you could be a football, basketball, baseball. And that one thing stuck out to me because I knew I was going to be tall because he was tall, and I knew I had a passion for basketball because that's all I wanted to do. So for someone to take interest in me at such a young age gave me even more motivation to excel in those things.
And that is something that you work with young people today, taking interest in them. Absolutely.
Yes, man. It just takes one person to tell you that you could do it or that you got it in you or they see something in you, and that should motivate you. That's what happened to me.
So, we know that there are only so many slots available in the NBA. I know there are lots of kids that may have had that same dream that you have, and particularly kids that come from impoverished neighborhoods. But is that truly a realistic goal, or are there other things that kids are learning through playing basketball that helps them whether they go to the NBA or not?
It's both of them, and also basketball teach you life lessons. So, it teaches you life lessons. It teaches you the work ethic, most important work ethic and discipline. And those two things alone help you secure different lifestyles in your life as you continue to mature. But basketball is definitely reachable and obtainable. Everything is about the approach.
So tell us about your childhood. What was it like?
My childhood, I had a great childhood. Mom took care of 4 kids, working 3 jobs. Basketball was my life. I had 9, 10 uncles and aunties, and my grandma had 64 grands, and she had 10 kids. So we come from a good, pretty tough family, and sports was big in the family. And we looked at sports as our way of making it out of the project.
As a matter of fact, some of your uncles also played professional ball overseas. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am. Coach Bo Bell did. Bo Bell played 17 years. So he really gave me the game. You know what I mean? He gave me the game, and I took it and ran with it.
Okay. So you were able to be recruited to go to college. You were the first one out of your family, is that right, to go to college? Within your immediate family?
I was the first one.
And you were recruited by Coach Jim Calhoun from the University of Connecticut. UConn was really hot during that time when you were recruited. Tell us about that experience.
Oh, man, that experience was amazing because when I was in the 8th grade, I said that I wanted to go to UConn. So around that time in 2000 when I was graduating, Jim Calhoun and UConn started recruiting me. And I got there in 2000, but they had just won a national championship in 1999. So we was hot. We was the number 1 team in the country. So when Jim Calhoun came down to Atlanta, he took me and my family out to eat. First time that we went to Papados, and we had a great meal. And he talked about how he would take care of me at UConn, how it would become family, and it was just a beautiful thing. UConn was my dream school, so be able to pick my dream school, that was a blessing for me.
But then you went up there to observe a game, right? And he was telling you about the scholarship.
Yeah, Jim Calhoun told me. He said, listen. He said, we're telling you that we want you right now. But if you don't tell me right now that you're going to commit to us, then, we're going to look elsewhere. But right now, you are our first option. So me being 17, 18 years old, I didn't know what to say. So I said, yeah, I'm coming, coach. You know what I mean? So having that father figure right there with you during those times of recruiting is very valuable because you don't make hasty decisions. I didn't give myself the opportunity to take time and assess the situation.
So when you got to UConn, the contrast between Connecticut and Atlanta was pretty stark.
Oh man, it was a culture shock for me. It was a culture shock. It was a weather shock. It was cold. Snow come to your knees. I seen so many different people all over the country. Different kinds of people. White, Black, Hispanic. You know what I mean? So it was a different environment for me.
So how did you adjust?
I was just stuck on basketball. One of the things that I regret about college is when you was a student athlete, you don't get the opportunity to interact with the other kids around the campus per se, like other kids would every day, because you tight into your basketball. You know what I mean? So you on a tight schedule. You have weights, you have basketball training, you have games, you have traveling, you have study hall. By that time, it's the end of the day.
So you don't feel like you really got a chance to get to know the campus or to get to know other students outside of your basketball program?
Nope, not at all. Because it's such a high level program that when you go to programs like that, each and every year there's only one goal, and that's to compete for a national championship.
So it's a lot of pressure. And you were also getting a lot of pressure from home.
Yep, I was getting a lot of pressure from home. I had a son. I had just had a son. He was 1 year old, so I was a kid with a kid. So my mom was working 3 jobs, so I'm trying to live off the Pell Grant. I'm trying to pursue my goals, pursue my dreams. I'm sending my mom a Pell Grant money. It was just hard. It was hard.
And so you made a decision one day that almost ended your college career, did it not?
Yes, indeed. Yes, it did.
Can you tell us about it?
Which particular time when I transferred?
Before you transferred, what happened to you at UConn?
When I was in UConn, I was stealing laptops, stealing out of dorm rooms and trying to sell the laptop. And police came. Coach Calhoun got involved. He made a phone call because on our team, we always travel with security and we travel with a lawyer because Calhoun knew the type of kid that he was recruiting, and he knew, it could be some different problem situations coming up. So to make a long story short, I was stealing computers out the dorm rooms, breaking in the dorm rooms, selling them, trying to make money to send home for my son and my mom. So Calhoun told me, he said, I just want you to be honest. Tell me what happened. If you're honest with me, we'll make it right. If you lie, there's going to be consequences. So I was honest with him. Coach made everything disappear.
So that tug between what was happening at home and trying to help out there and also being at this elite school, that was tough. And you had to make some hard decisions. Would you have done something differently in hindsight?
In hindsight, when I look back at it, I would have done some things different. I would have focused more on me because I wasn't here in Atlanta. I was at UConn. I was on a mission, and I should have stuck to that mission. And just dealt with the outcome. I should have stuck to that mission. I shouldn't have, tried to make my problem, other people's problem, my problem. Right.
So you wound up leaving UConn. Where'd you go then?
I left UConn and went to the College of Charleston in Charleston, South Carolina.
And tell us about the difference between leaving UConn and going to Charleston.
The difference was, when I was leaving UConn was a powerhouse, number 1 school in the country. We fly first class. We ate after practice. They make sure we have money, different things like that. When I got to College of Charleston, the expectations, it wasn't that high. So I thought that was kind of strange coming from where I came from. The expectations wasn't high. The work ethic, it really wasn't the same. It was a lot of freedom. And during those times, during that freedom, I was in the streets. I was going to the neighborhood. I was gambling. I was making money. I was living fast. I was coming in late to my dorm room 3 in the morning, got practice at 6 in the morning. But no one will never know because I always worked hard and I was determined. You know what I mean? So I took a turn, and when I took that turn, I began to take my education serious. I looked up. I was a junior and a senior in college, so I started preparing myself to be able to get my degree. And I knew basketball would stop one day. So once I got my degree, I was able to focus and still preparing for basketball, and I had an opportunity to play professionally in Europe.
So you went to Europe, and you played for how many years?
I played 6 years in Europe.
Okay. And during that time, that's when you also got married, is that right?
I got married after my first year in Europe, I got married.
And how many children?
I have 5 children.
So you had a lot of mouths to feed and a lot of people to be responsible for, correct?
Man, everybody was depending on me. They were depending on me.
Yeah. Yeah. How was that pressure for you?
That pressure, it was real pressure. It was real pressure. But then when I went through another situation in my life, I understood what real pressure was. So now looking at hindsight, that wasn't really no real pressure.
Got you. All right. So when you came back from, you got hurt, if I'm not mistaken, and you came back from playing overseas, and you wound up working in the Atlanta area, right? With youth, with young people. And that's when things really turned around. Tell us the story. What happened to you?
I had a herniated disc in my back. So that's when you have back pain. That came from, playing basketball for so many years, out of jumping and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I had pain going down my leg. It was a herniated disc, so I had a nerve pinch. So I had to have back surgery. So at the time, I wasn't able to go back to Europe because I couldn't play. So I had took a job in the local neighborhood of the Mechanicsville community in the city of Atlanta. Mm-hmm. And during that time, you're dealing with a lot of inner city kids and stuff like that. A lot of people that you kind of grew up with, things like that. They was in the street. So I was approached one day, and a guy came to me and said, "Hey, you want to make a quick lick? You want to make some money?" I said, "What you mean?" I said, "Hell yeah." I said, "What do I need to do?" So he said, "You just need to ride. You just need to ride in the car." So come to find out, he said, "But you got to wear this uniform." So I got in the car. I thought about it first. I went home, went to sleep. I was supposed to meet the guys at a local warehouse around about 8 o'clock. They was calling my phone. And I didn't answer the phone because I knew my gut was telling me, don't do this. I knew it was wrong because I seen these types of things. I had all my kinfolk were doing these types of things. So I said something wrong. So they kept calling, so they called, I answered. I said, all right, man, I'm on the way. Because at the time, I didn't know, what was going on. I just knew that I was going to make a lump sum of money. Mm-hmm. So I got to the warehouse. I put on a uniform, and I put on a sheriff uniform, and I rode in the car, which I'm thinking is real Migos. Migos is a term of someone that got a lot of drugs. You know what I mean? Okay. So I'm in the car with him, and as we ride, he's asking me questions about, man, I like you. You this type of guy. You that type of guy. I want to bring you out to Texas. We can make a lot of money together. Now, mind you, in the back seat, from one end of the one to another end of the one in a Cadillac truck, it's a big old bag, number $100 bill, stacked up to your waistline. So I don't know how much money it was. Yeah, it was that. So we pulled up at the warehouse. We get the money out the back of the seat, put it in the warehouse. I get in about 5 or 6 guys. And as I'm looking around, I know I'm in some deep trouble because I know this is a drug deal. Do not go like this. So as I'm sitting around, I'm seeing guys with guns around their ankles, on their waist, but it's covered up. So I look up, I see hidden cameras and things like this. Heart being fast, racing. Oh my God, you just don't know. So we get the drug. I take the drug, put the drugs in the car. It was about 20 keys of cocaine, put it in the back of the car. As we driving, the car pull up to a hotel about 20 minutes away from the location. Mm-hmm. So the guy tell me, who picked me up, he said, hey, sit in the car, be right back. Come to find out it was cameras in the car. So I'm just sitting in the car. At this time, I don't know if to run or stay because I already know what's going on, but at the same time, I didn't know if it was real. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So he come back out. He was like, you all right? I'm like, I'm good, man. So he took me back to my vehicle. So from that day forward, I knew something was wrong. It just didn't sit right. So my wife's family, they from Ohio. So we took a trip to Ohio with the kids. So while I was in Ohio, my phone rang. It say unknown. I said, hello? Didn't nobody say nothing. Hung up the phone. Phone rang back again. I said, hello? Didn't nobody say nothing. I'm instantly sweating. I'm like, dang, I don't know what that was about. Mm-hmm. So about 4 or 5 days later, we get back to Atlanta. I'm getting ready to go to the gym, to stretch and work out and try to swim, try to get my back right, get back in shape, you know what I mean? Because I'm still trying to go to Europe. I go in the gym. I wake up in the morning time about 4:30. I think the LA Fitness open at 5. So as I get in the car, as I'm driving to the gym, there's an unmarked van that was following me. So as I'm driving, I look out the window. I'm like, man, okay, that van following me. So I made a unnecessary turn that I wouldn't normally make. So the van kept going. I said, oh, okay, it went for me then. So I went on to the gym. I leave out the gym about 6:30 or 7. You know, so I'm walking out the gym. I got 2 balls. First thing I do when I'm done working out, I walk out the gym. Man, it was about 15, 20 federal agents bum rushing me. 5 coming from the front, 4 coming off the roof, 5 coming from my right, 6, 7 coming from my left. All on had machine gun, AK-47, pistol.
Oh.
Lay down! I'm like, oh, man, where? I'm still standing because I'm stunned. I'm in shock. Lay down, MF. Ooh. So I laid down. Where the drawer? Where the money? I said, man, I ain't got nothing. I said, I got guns in the car. But I had license for them. You know what I mean? I had license. I said, where the license? Oh, they checked my pocket, got everything out my pocket. They locked the car doors. They picked me up. They throw me in the back of the seat, shackled around my leg, around my ankle. So I'm sitting in the car. They asked me, they say, you know why we arrested you? I said, hell no. So he looked at me. He said, oh, you one of them, all right? He said, oh, you don't want to talk. You the big bad guy. I said, I ain't no guy. So he showed me paperwork. He said, United States of America versus Robert Swain. He said, intent to distribute 20 keys of cocaine. I said, oh, my God. So as we driving, we on the way to the headquarters, the Federal Bureau, FBI headquarters, and we ride on the expressway. Now, I know, Miss Brittany, that we are going at least 75, 80 miles per hour, right? This is what I know. I'm looking out the window, right?
Mm-hmm.
But these cars, everything was just slow motion. I know we going 75, 80, but everything else was just moving so slow.
Because you realize how deep you're in at this point.
There you go. I said, my life done slowed down. So, went to the headquarters. You want to keep hearing that whole story? You want to hear the story?
Yeah, go ahead. Tell us the story. What happened?
Okay. I get to the headquarters. I had 3 phones. So my uncle was calling one phone because he had been calling. We talk every morning. My Uncle Jamie. Uncle Jamie in the book. I don't think you, you probably read about Uncle Jamie.
Yes, I did.
So Uncle Jamie calling. So they didn't let me get the phone. So I said, answer that. I said, that's my uncle. So Uncle Jamie got on the phone. He yelling because they got it on speaker. He said, who are they? He said, this is Detective so-and-so. My uncle said, detective? He said, my uncle said, y'all got the wrong man. My uncle said, the federal agent said, nah, we got the right man. I'm afraid that Swain made one mistake. Now, before I made the move, I called my uncle, Miss Brittany, right? And I said, would you go do something for a big old lick, 20, 30,000? Would you go do this and this and this, just ride? My uncle said, hell no. So I hung up the phone to my uncle, but I did it anyway. You know what I mean?
So your uncle had already warned you that was not a good move for you to do that.
My uncle warned me. So he talked to the officer, boom. They locked me up. I made bond the same day because I had never been in trouble in that. Record was clean, so they gave me a $25,000 signature bond. So when I got out, Brittany, me and my family, we had went to Pizza Hut, right? No, I'm gonna take you back. When they brought me out for my hearing for my bond, man, I had to look my mom and everybody in the eye. That was very painful for me.
Because you had never been in trouble outside of what happened to you at UConn. You had never been in trouble before. You had never been in trouble with the law in terms of being arrested, right? Yes, ma'am. I've never been in trouble with the law. And just in my first strike, it was real serious. It was very serious. So I had got one of the top lawyers. We had some money saved up, and I had some family members, that looked out a couple of my uncles and things like that. It was a big price. Yeah. So they helped you get the money together? Yeah, my uncle, my brother-in-law did. My brother-in-law, my uncle, my mother, my auntie.
So when I got out, I got on the phone. It was around the time Michael Vick had got in some trouble. So I called. They said, here you go, you got to call your lawyer. So I called my lawyer, who my uncle previous had, when he had got indicted on some charges in Charleston, South Carolina. His name was Dwight Thomas, high-profile attorney. T.I. had him as well. So I get on the phone with Dwight Thomas. I said, hey, what's going on this Swain? He said, Swain, I'm going to keep this very short and brief with you. He say, it's Friday, right? Miss Brittany, it's Friday. He tell me on Friday that I got to have him $50,000 on Monday. I said, what?
In order to take your case.
In order to take my case. I said, what? He said, hey, man, let me tell you something. Michael Vick got millions, man, and he just got caught fighting dogs. And you see what they finna do to him, right? He say, you intend to distribute 20 keys of cocaine. He said, you need to have that money, man. I see your money. Man, I hung up the phone.
If you're just joining us, we're talking with Coach Robert Swain, motivational speaker, author, and founder of Swain Basketball Academy in Atlanta. His book is called Own Your Moment. Coach Swain, let me ask you this, because I need to move the story along, because I want to be able to get to some other things that you are doing now and how you turned your life around. You did wind up going to prison. You spent 2 years?
Yes, ma'am, 2 years. 2
years in prison. And you had an epiphany. You had a transformation while you were in prison. What happened?
When I went to prison in Brittany, I found out, I found God. I learned to believe in myself. I did a lot of things that strengthened my mind and strengthened my body and gave me the confidence that I was unstoppable. About 3 weeks before my release date, God came to me and told me that I would have a son. His name was going to be King. He told me that I was going to have Swain Basketball Academy, where I was going to be working with young guys and young women and helping them do the things that they want to do with basketball, getting in college and going professional, things like that. And he told me, don't worry about nothing. He said, it's going to be unlimited. So when I processed it and got with that, I knew that he was involved in it. And he was the only reason that I was doing what I was doing.
So when you got out, it wasn't so easy for you to get restarted, was it?
At all. When I got out, no one would let me use the gym because the story was so big of what I did. But they said, he's a drug dealer. Nobody would let me use the gym. No parents, they want their kids to work with me. Everything was no. So I took a construction job. Started making money. Every time I got paid, I went and bought a basketball. And I never gave up. And it was this one guy that allowed me to work with his son. And I started working with his son, and I ain't looked back ever since.
So tell us about Swain Basketball Academy. What is it? What's it all about?
Swain Basketball Academy is a basketball player development program where we work and help develop young guys and young women in basketball, enhance their skill set, allowing them to have an opportunity to be able to go to college. We have relationships with all the college coaches on the women's and the men's side throughout the country. We also a mentoring program as well.
So what ages do you work with?
We start at the age of 5 all the way to professional, girls and boys.
Wow. And do you have your own building now? Tell us, exactly where you are and how you were able to accomplish those goals.
We rent out facilities. I was able to accomplish based on the clientele that I received. So as I was making money, I was always putting money back into the business. And as the business continued to grow, I started renting out more and more gyms. In the future, we're looking to build our own gym or get like a warehouse and turn it into our own facility.
So, Coach, I'm curious because you spent a lot of time, especially in your book, you talk about how you were determined not to be on the corner, and not to do nothing with your life, that you wanted to do something with your life. But yet you made some decisions that really could have incarcerated you for a really, really long time. Do you think it is the pull between the corner or trying to get out of the hood, or that your choices were because of you as an individual, or was it because of the way the system runs and how hard it is for Black men, or is it both?
It's a little bit of both. And what I want to say is, I'm a risk taker. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing: you got to take the right risk. I was a reckless risk taker. Do that make sense?
Yes.
You got to take the right risk. Like, if you're gonna take a risk that you can win from and lose from, but not lose from as in losing your life.
Mm-hmm. So what do you tell young people that you're working with now in terms of choices that they need to make?
I let them know you only got one chance. You only got one chance at what it is. Own your moment. That speaks volumes for me.
When you say that, what do you mean? What do you mean by own your moment?
Whether you're a doctor, whether you're a dentist, whether you're an athlete, whether you're a news reporter, we only have that moment. Whatever that moment consists of, you got to give your all. Ain't no turning back. Learn everything you need in that moment. Put your all in that moment. That's the only thing that promise, Brittany, is that moment. Mm. Like me and you on the phone right now. It's all that promise right now.
I see.
This moment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So what do you, when you look at particularly young African-American men, young boys, and you're watching them grow up, what are your major concerns, especially with all the violence and stuff that we've been seeing lately? Well, it's been going on all along, but it seems like we're paying a lot of attention to it at this time, with particularly the gun violence and all. Is sports still the way out so that most kids don't get hung up in that?
That's a great question you asked me, because when I see young kids, my heart, I feel sorry. And what I mean by that is the prison system right now knows in 2045 how many of those kids gonna be in their facilities.
Mm-hmm.
And they have no clue. So at that time, if I could say some kind words or encouraging words, or put a ball in their hand and help them believe, or get them in my program, or be an example for them, share my story with them, I do that. Motivate them. You get all A's. I give you $100. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like challenging them to do chores around the house, challenging them to be, big brothers and big sisters to their parents. I take that trash out, mom or dad. I clean up the bathroom. You know what I mean? Things like that, holding them accountable. Mm-hmm. And I feel like when I hold kids accountable that I work with, I feel like they go a long way.
You think that's what's missing for a lot of these kids, is no one holds them accountable?
Yeah, no one holds them accountable. They got to be held accountable.
Mm.
Because they got to be afraid of letting someone down.
Mm. Speak about your relationship with your mom. Because that was a big part of how you made it, was it not?
Yeah, my mom, when I tell you, my mom she's the strongest woman I know. Big heart, kind heart, but my mom didn't play though. That was one of her greatest fears of one of her boys going to prison. When I went to prison, it crushed my mom. It broke her heart. And that was one of the things that hurt me. It wasn't so much of me going to prison. It was the fact that I knew my mom was in pain. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But my mom's so strong. She don't view nothing as a loss. She's so strong and powerful, man. She's just strong.
And she taught you. You have a nickname. They call you Fuzzy, right?
Yep.
Where did that come from?
Rest in peace to my grandmother. She passed about 2 years ago. When I was born, I was bow-legged and I was hairy. So when she walked in and seen me coming out my mom, she said, "Oh my God, he's so fuzzy." Because, I had hair and everything on my face, and everything just stuck with me. Fuzzy just stuck with me. I had hair on my face like I do now, Miss Brittany.
So, when one thing that struck me when I was reading your book, you talk about when you went to prison, especially the first. So they sent you to one prison, and then they sent you to the camp, which was, I guess, less restrictive. But you weren't able to shave or anything.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. So when I first went to prison, Miss Brittany,
It's
I was in
Barbara.
I was in the. I mean, Barbara. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I was in the max security. So when they dropped me in the hole, I'm like, oh my God, I got to do this. I got to be 2 years here, right?
Mm.
So I didn't get no haircut, no nothing. I looking like a werewolf. You hear me, Barbara? So one day they came and bounced on the door. Boom, 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 boom. Swain, get ready. I'm like, what's going on? So then when they transported us to the camp, see, I didn't know nothing about it. So when I got to the camp, you had a little more freedom. They had barbers, they had classes you could take. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You can work out every day. You kind of develop a schedule. So I was happy to, be able to get a haircut.
Mm. Do you think that if your mother were not as strong as she was and you had this family support that you had, that things would have turned out differently?
You say if I didn't have the family
If you did
support?
not have it, right. Mm-hmm. In other words, was that something that was really important that helped you to bounce back, even though you made some choices that you, you probably should not have made?
Oh, without a doubt. My family helped me bounce back, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
In what ways? Tell us about that.
The motivation aspect of it and me feeling like I let them down. Me feeling like I let my kids down, feel like letting my wife down. So I had to go extra hard because, when you go to prison, you consider dead to the world. So it was like a reincarnation for me. So I want my coming home party to be a beautiful one. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't take no for no answer.
How did you explain it to your kids, Robert?
I was straight up with them. I said, Daddy went to jail for selling drugs. I was straight up with them. And I told them these are the consequences when you break the law.
Mm-hmm. And what was their reaction?
My son, my daughter, are you serious, Dad? So now I have kids that play sports and at a high level, basketball, tennis, and things like that, basketball, volleyball. And so when my daughters get interviewed, they ask her, why you step on the court and you just play so well and just play so hard and play for every possession like your last? That's what my daughter told her.
What?
My daughter said, because my daddy went to prison. That's my motivation.
Wow.
So I felt like when she said that, I said, wow, they really receiving. They really listening. They want to be special. They want to be great.
Mm-hmm. So, Robert, when you hear people say that we have a lost generation, that there are just kids out there that just cannot be saved, that they're just bad, they're just on the corner, they're just doing the things that they're not supposed to be doing, and there is no hope for them. What's your response to that?
My response is, it is hope for them. It's just people like myself, we got to help. We got to help them. We got to be role models and really help. Not just be role models, but we really got to step in. Coaches got to be father figures. Coaches got to be big brothers. You know what I mean? Coaches got to be uncles because it's hard being single parent, and it takes a village. Even some households that got their mother and their father, it still takes a village because when a kid reaches a certain age, they stop listening to mama, or they stop listening to dad, or they stop listening to mom and dad. So it takes a village.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't understand those terms until I got older and had kids myself.
So where are you going with Swain Academy going forward? Do you have some stars that you've already gotten into school?
Oh yeah, we have over 50, 60 kids in Division I colleges, JUCOs, Division II. We have 3 girls, 3 women in the WNBA. We have 3 guys in the NBA. We're looking to continue to build and continue to grow.
Wow.
We also have 13 AAU teams. Those of y'all don't know what AAU teams are. AAU teams is a league, a program where you have summer teams and you travel and play different tournaments depending on the age. You'll play in front of college coaches and things like that. We're going to start a girls program for AAU this upcoming season as well.
So, and your daughter is a star basketball player, is she not?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, she is. Taylor Swain.
I hear the pride. I hear the pride in your voice.
Yeah.
So, and I must ask you, did you name your son King?
Yep, named my son King.
So everything that came through, you followed through.
Everything came through. It came to fruition.
Yeah. And your faith played a big role in that.
My faith played the number one role in it because, I had people that was close to me who I love that was telling me, man, you tripping. You need to get a job. Man, you talking about you training. Man, that ain't going to work. You need to do this. I know they hiring at the sanitation department with the county. You need to do this. Nah, man, I'm doing this. And I didn't take it personal, but they didn't go where I go. They didn't hear what I hear. They ain't seen what I seen, so they didn't know what I know. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it was easy for me to stay uprooted into what I believed and what I knew God had promised me.
So, but it takes a strong mind in order to stay that focused.
There you go. You're right.
And what kind of coach are you, Coach Swain? Are you in the kids' face all the time, or are you laid back? I got a feeling there's nothing laid back about you.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm high performance. I'm in your face. I'm gritty. I'm grimy. But here's the thing, though. It's not personal. It's only because I see the potential. And here's the second thing. Every kid has a different emotional identity, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So what may motivate John may not motivate Chris. I may have to yell at John, but I may have to be more pleasant with Chris.
Gotcha.
I may have to laugh a lot with Jacob, but I may have to keep a mean mug
with someone else. Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Let me ask you this one last question before we go. So how do you encourage the importance of education to the kids that are in your camp? And do you have tutoring services, for example, so that they can stay on top of their education too?
Yes, ma'am. I'm very big on education. The number one thing is student first. So you have to follow the script. It's student athlete. So when you sign a scholarship, you're a student first.
Mm-hmm.
And you're a student first because if you don't have the grades, they're not even going to look your way.
Exactly. How do people get in touch with you if they want to find out more about Swain Academy?
You can go to my website, www.swainbasketballacademy.com. My social media, Instagram is Swain, SWAIN _basketball. Twitter is Swain Basketball.
Okay. Well, Coach Swain, you have an inspiring story. Your book is called Own Your Moment. You can get it on Amazon, and we really appreciate you being with us and being a guest on Another View. We wish you all the best going forward, and thank you so much for working with the young people in our communities. We appreciate you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You take care, and we'll be right back. Monday marks the second annual commemoration of Juneteenth as a national holiday. And there are lots of ways for you to celebrate and remember the significance of the ending of slavery in America. The beautiful music you just heard is Adolphus Hailstork's Three Spirituals. And he is the composer. You know he is local here. And WHRO FM, in honor of Juneteenth, will highlight the works of classical composers and performers of African descent with special programs throughout this weekend. So this is something really different, and I really encourage you to tune in to 90.3. You can go to WHRO.org to find out more programming information, but they will spend the weekend celebrating African-American composers and musicians playing classical music. And there are lots of ways to celebrate Juneteenth, including throughout Williamsburg. And joining me now is Connie Harshaw, president of the Let Freedom Ring Foundation, to talk about the unique collaboration formed specifically for this Juneteenth occasion. And in full disclosure, I am a proud board member of the Let Freedom Ring Foundation. Connie, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. So I want to know, what is the Juneteenth Community Consortium and why did you guys come together?
Well, we are organizations that came together specifically for the purpose of looking back, looking around, looking within, and moving forward as we celebrate and educate, commemorate, and celebrate Juneteenth. We are, oh my gosh, the large organizations, of course, Colonial Williamsburg, William and Mary, but also the grassroots organizations, coming to the table, the Village Initiative for Education, Equity, and Education, and NAACP, the League of Women Voters, if I haven't said that again. I mean, it's just everybody in the community coming together to make sure that, one, we let people know how important it is to celebrate the end of slavery in this country.
Mm-hmm. Are you there?
I am here.
Okay. So the vision, look back, look around, look within, and move forward, which I just love. Is this something that you all are saying we need to do this individually as a Commonwealth and as a nation? I mean, if we do these things, would this help to end the separation and the racism that we've been dealing with?
It absolutely will, because if you don't understand what has happened in our history, then it makes it difficult for you to get better and to heal and reconcile. But if you understand the story, the freedom of the enslaved, it was a complex time for our history. Can you just imagine if you are not African American, waking up one morning with no resources, getting this new thing called freedom? How do you deal with that? We need to make sure we communicate that message throughout the nation. Also, we start here in Colonial Williamsburg, which is, the place where if you want history, this is the place to come. So we're telling the whole story, and we're doing it as a joint effort with all of the members of the consortium, which is just amazing. I don't think this has been done anywhere other than here.
So tell us some of the things that will be going on this weekend.
Oh, my goodness. We start with the League of Women Voters. On Friday afternoon, we start with them telling us Juneteenth, what it is and what it isn't. The president of William and Mary has allowed her staff to take off early because they will also launch the opening celebration at the Memorial to the Enslaved, which is an awe-inspiring memorial monument over on the campus of William and Mary. There's an art exhibit, a commemorative art exhibit at the Stryker, at the library. And then for the people that can't come to us, we're going to them. The NAACP has organized a parade that will start in Highland Park, an African-American community, and end up in Bicentennial Park in Colonial Williamsburg. We've got Juneteenth going on at Jamestown Settlement. We've got, on Sunday morning, we have an interfaith service. We have everybody, thank God, thank Jehovah, Allah. We have everybody under a tent to celebrate and to pray for this country and our understanding and of freedom. And then Sunday afternoon from 3 to 7, we start with all of the traditional red velvet cake and soda and on the historic triangle there at Prince George's and Scotland Street. And that party is going to last until 7 p.m.
Wow.
And then on Tuesday, the last thing that we're going to do is an after party. Coming to the table, an organization for racial reconciliation is hosting sort of a hot wash. What did we do right? What do we need to improve for next year? Because we're hoping that every year the celebration will get to be bigger.
We'll get bigger and bigger. Kind of explain why Juneteenth is a holiday for all of us. This is not a Black holiday. This is a holiday, an American holiday.
That's right. I have to tell you that when President Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation in 1863, it took 2 years for this word to get to Texas. And on June 19th, 1865, of course, that's when the last enslaved person was free. And I think that in the words of Dr. Martin Luther King, none of us are free until all of us are free. And if you think about that for a moment and think about what this country is going through right now, this great experiment that we call America, the democracy, we have got to understand what freedom means to everyone here. And so we are making it our charge to educate the community and to serve as an example for the nation.
Well, put on your Let Freedom Ring hat for just a moment, because this whole area of the Williamsburg really, it's the founding of our government, but it's also feeling like it's the reconciliation of our past, and things have been changing between what's happening with First Baptist Church of Williamsburg, with the archaeological dig, with the monument at William and Mary. Is there a feeling in the community that the community as a whole is really trying to reconcile its past and move forward in a much more positive way?
Yes. The short answer to that is yes. The much longer answer to that is you cannot reconcile what you will not acknowledge. And Williamsburg has a very complex history. You know, and I know, and a lot of other folks know that in 1776, it was predominantly African-American, free and enslaved. Right. And over the years, in the Jim Crow era, everything has been intentionally, in some cases, covered up, the history. But the history of that place, that space, is just amazing. And so we are now starting to uncover that history. And every day there's a new revelation from the First Baptist Church, the Bray School, the Dunlop family, who was a very wealthy family, Robert Harris family. All of these things that we did not know and we are not taught in school are now starting to be uncovered with the help of William and Mary and also the Colonial Williamsburg Foundation. It is just amazing. I can't tell you. It is a great feeling, because all of the hurt and all of the pain now, it's not going to go away, but at least there's an acknowledgement. And once you do that, people can move on. We can move forward.
Absolutely. So the events this weekend, is there a charge? Does it depend?
I am so glad you asked, because this is what I mean about reconciliation. This is the first time in the history of the Colonial Williamsburg Foundation that there will be no admission.
Wow.
Everything is open. They have never done this before. Everything is open without cost, because we are hoping that people will come and they will see the entire Colonial Williamsburg area and how the community has come together to make sure that the story is accurate, that it's told, and that the community is educated. It's just going to be a really good time.
Oh, that is fantastic. And will there be people available, any archaeologists at the site of the church? Just out of curiosity, in case people want to stop by.
Yeah, you know they will. That's my Let Freedom Ring hat.
Yes.
You know they will. And I have to tell you, at the end of the celebration on Saturday night and on Sunday evening, the archaeological team has fabricated this amazing image of Gowan pamphlet on the archaeological site there, that it will be backlit, and he will be standing in the place as though in 1818 he was delivering a sermon.
A sermon there. Wow.
It is just, it is awe-inspiring to see that.
So if you want to go for some ideas or some opportunity to celebrate Juneteenth, you're saying Williamsburg is the place to be, correct?
Oh, it is definitely the place to be. Let me tell you.
Thank you so much, Connie Harshaw. She is president of the Let Freedom Ring Foundation. And Juneteenth is a national holiday for everyone. And I hope that you will participate in one of the many celebratory activities throughout Hampton Roads, Williamsburg, Norfolk, Newport News. I think every city has something going on this weekend. And if you'd like to hear this show again or share it with a friend, visit our website, anotherviewradio.org, and download the podcast. Next week on Another View, it's Another View on Health with Dr. Keith Newby. We struck a nerve last month when we talked about maternity centers closing in some hospitals, so we will explore this topic in more detail next week. Our theme music is an original composition created especially for Another View by Jay Sennett. Lisa Godley is our show producer. Todd Washburn is our audio engineer, and Dr. Barry Graham answered our phones. I'm Barbara Ham Lee. There's unity in the community, y'all. Come on, let's celebrate Juneteenth. And let's get together again next Thursday at noon for Another View.
Support comes from Thomas Nelson Community College, now becoming Virginia Peninsula Community College, the first choice to start a bachelor's degree since tuition is 1/3 the cost of four-year schools. More at tncc.edu.
Support comes from Hampton Roads Community Foundation, carrying out your charitable wishes forever, whether it's helping shelter animals, feeding the homeless, enhancing the arts, or supporting students. Learn more at leaveabequest.org.